pancakes.
No,
What?
блины.
Blini.
Stop. We're going to speak about them a little bit. Blini. Matthew would like to tell you that they call it pancake, yeah?
No,
But sometimes they
we
call it
never call
blini.
we
Blini,
never call it-
yes?
We never call it pancake.
But no, yes. But
we never
it's
call it pancake because in America we have pancake and it's not this. Where in Russia, and it's not this. Where in Russia, in Russian it literally translates into pancake.
перевод это pancake, да?
So
Но
when
они
we
просто
do something
используют-
like this with it, we call it, even in America, we call it blini. If we roll it, we call it a crepe.
Can you write, please, Matthew?
It is a crepe with farce. No?
A crepe can be with anything.
Not this one.
No, this is blini.
Blini, the speller, please.
Crepes, it is the same roll. Yeah?
It's French, it's rolled.
Ah.
And you guys, I watch many Russians make this dish, and I don't see Russians make it traditional anymore. It's usually you add yeast to your dough. It makes it rise a little bit. Where French, they don't use yeast. You use yeast, it's what makes bread rise. And traditionally, Russians
Can you please
use...
write this word yeast?
Yeast.
Yeast.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference between all the pancakes. French, no yeast. Russians, traditionally you use yeast. A little. I've seen the recipes. And in America we use soda. Soda. I see Russians use soda now because this takes a long time. Soda is very quick, so they don't make it traditional. It's sweet.
And what is green?
Петрушка.
Ukrop.
Укроп.
In English, it's
Ukrop.
Dill.
dill. Dill. D-I-L-L. It's easy word, that's why you can write it by yourself. Okay. I'd like to connect some of your dishes with the restaurant which is inside the hotel, yeah, and ask some of representatives from the restaurant about the menu. Hello, representative of the restaurant. Do you work in the restaurant?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Tell about blini. Do you have like pancakes or
No, we
blini?
don't have the pancakes.
No. So.
That's
Okay.
from the breakfast.
Uh-huh.
We have the pancakes. It is the pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, you can take some ingredients or jam or sgushonka or sour cream.
Is it pancakes or is it?
It is in Europe the pancakes it's not big listed, small.
Okay. Yeah.
We have the small one.
Okay. Next. Mm-hmm.
What is
Good luck.
What is it? Is it made?
I'll
They
give
call
you-
dishes or-
I'll give you a hint. The majority of my family is German, and this is a very traditional German dish. My great-grandmother used to make this in the kitchen, and she would curse in German.
Matthew, can we classify first which course is it?
No, it can be anything. This you can
What do you-
classify. It can be sweet, it can be savory, it can be as
No,
an
appetizer.
appetizer, it
Sweet?
can be...
It can be appetizer, yeah. It can be main dish, Matthew, yeah. It can be
Is it
main
hot
dish.
or warm dish?
Always served hot.
Hot.
Always served hot.
It is rice or what is it?
No.
What do you
It's
think?
made
Is
from
it a
flour.
salad? Do you think
It's
No,
made
it's
from
not.
flour.
It's not like salad.
It's not a salad.
it's not a salad?
Yeah.
You can come up or closer. Maybe you don't see because it's very far
I
away.
see the nuts.
There are nuts in it.
What kind of nuts?
Usually it's plain. When they serve it in Germany, usually it's just this stuff. I did this because it's my interpretation of this dish. Like I said, it can be sweet. Sometimes they add jam and honey to it.
It can be
Sometimes
dessert.
sometimes it's savory, and I'll serve it with other like fish or meat. But it's very traditional. It can be a garnish. It can be its own thing. Very, very traditional German dish.
German dish. Yeah.
The name is
Spatzen.
Spatzen. That's
Can you
Spatzen.
write, please, this word? He doesn't like to write.
Please.
It's German, by the way. Yeah. And in English.
Spatzen.
I wanted you to write in English, not in German. Because we have English
It's almost the
lesson.
same. Spatzel. It's made from flour, or it's almost made like a bouillon. It's made from flour, egg, milk, and a touch of oil. But never olive oil, like a vegetable oil, or my grandmother used to use lard. You know what lard is, right? It's like after you cook bacon, all the fat's left over in the pan that turns white, it's lard. And she used to, very good. And then it's very liquidy, but not quite like bellini, not like that pancake, a little bit thicker. And you have a special pan that goes on top of boiling water, and you dump it, and then you scrape the pan, and it makes like raindrops, but very big raindrops, and that's spatzel. And then you take it out of the boiling water and you put it in ice water to cool it down. And you can keep it in the fridge, or you can freeze it. My grandmother used to freeze like kilos of this stuff. And when you're ready, you pull it out, and in like 30 minutes, it's good, and you put it in a hot pan with oil, and you just saute it. And it comes out with a little bit of color. Very good, very good.
Это вот как клёцки получается.
So it's kind of
You know, close.
Yes, it's kind of like
Bread.
It's very, very small, yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew,
It's like a type of noodle. It's a German noodle, basically.
lapsha, да? Noodle.
It's not often you see it outside of Germany. It's not even in America. In German restaurants, do you see this outside? I don't know why. It's very easy to make.
But the taste, it's look like.
It depends on the chef. This, I added something called Quatre d'Espèces, four spice, French four spice, just to give it a flavor. And then underneath it, it has a cheese, ricotta. But I made the ricotta from fresh cream. And then toasted almonds, rucola, and these are pickled peppers.
Pickled это у нас
Красный.
маринованное,
I
да?
don't know.
Как пишется лапша?
Noodle. Noodle.
And
Noodle. So I'm sorry, Matthew. And the name of the dish is
Spatzel.
Spatzel. No? So everybody knows.
it is the fish with pea puree.
What kind of fish?
Remember?
And maybe seabass or nothing.
It's a very weird name you have for it in Russian. I never understood why you call it.
Maslinek.
Oily fish.
In English, it's scallops.
Скат?
Scallop.
Escalope.
Escalope.
Да нет.
Scallop.
seared scallop with English pea puree.
Yeah.
Scallop. А я сейчас посмотрю, что это.
And what is green? I mean, in English, what is it?
No.
Oh, it's not dill.
No.
Петрушка?
Кинза.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Can you write kinza in English, please?
Разве кинза не называется по-другому?
Вот, cilantro.
Килантро.
Cilantro.
Ну, кинза это по-русски, да? Cilantro it's кинза, right? Оксана.
Скалоп это гребешок,
Мгм.
если что. Скалоп гребешок.
Да, это рыба. Мгм.
Просто не-
Все написали
These
scallops.
are very special.
It's tasty.
They come from Florida and they're about this big around and about that thick.
Scallop,
We
гребешок.
can try
Да,
some
напиши.
this scallop with
Написала,
pasta
да? Чтобы все
or
просто
risotto. It
понимали.
is not big one. It is
This bay scallops. Yeah, these are sea scallops. We have another one that are smaller called bay
yeah,
scallops.
it's
Мгм.
and the fish on the grill or
Pan. Scallopa pan.
Мгм. Pan. P-A-N.
Seared.
What do you mean? Matthew?
Seared fish.
Seared fish, yes?
Морская рыба
Мгм.
есть гребешок. No.
Mm-hmm.
Seared.
А, морской.
What?
Морская.
Морская.
Mhm. Okay, what about your restaurant? Do you have any scallops
No,
dishes?
Our restaurant is a
Salmon,
grill bar or a grill restaurant.
Uh-huh.
We, in the high season, we want to work with more beef.
Uh-huh. Meat?
With meat.
Meat.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Meat.
With some steak because we have the steakhouse. We want to
Mhm.
have the steakhouse, but we have some fish. It is a salmon. Sibas.
Сибат.
Sibas.
Mhm.
How about Sibas or Sibas?
Sea bass.
Сибас.
Mhm.
Some seafood.
No.
Black
Black
sea барабуля.
Sea.
Black Sea Fish Flat это камбо? Что это?
Fish flat, как квартира.
Bar.
Да,
Барабуля.
да, то, что, да,
Flat,
камбала.
Fish Flat это
Да, да, да.
Goat fish.
It's name барабуля.
Да.
Goat. G-O.
Black sea. А, вот и что. Black sea. Black.
Plus.
What is
It's a
it?
flatfish. Black Sea Plus.
White, large.
Камбала.
Камбо, да.
Ah, it's no black. Black is a old
German black.
black.
Black Sea.
Значит,
But baraburia, you should just say that. Even Americans know what that is. We don't say goatfish, it's not a very beautiful name. They say you eat with your eyes, but you always hear first. You know what I mean? If you say goatfish, it's just like, I don't want to eat that.
I know.
is it, what is it made of?
Nope.
No?
You said it
That was
earlier.
a-
You asked me how to say it.
Ah, да?
It's a whitefish.
Ah, sibas. Oh,
Mhm.
sibas.
Mhm.
Mhm.
With vegetables. It's not grilled vegetables.
Spring vegetable. In
Spring
Amer-
vegetables.
In America.
Can you
and-
see what kind of vegetables?
In America, in Europe, it's very different than Russia. Any part of Russia, even Moscow. The amount of different produce we can get would make your head just. Beets, we talk about beets. I've seen only in Moscow yellow beets. And even then, it's very rare. In America and West Europe, you can get pink beets, red beets, yellow beets, purple beets, candy cane beets, which are red and white, like this, looks just like candy. You can get like over 100 different types of beets. Tomatoes, there are over 1,000 different types of tomatoes we can get. I mean, it's spectacular. I have seen these in Russia. I've actually seen old women here in these woods
What is
pick
it?
these. If I told you a fern, do you know what a fern is? Like the plant you have in offices? These are baby ferns, what we call like nettles.
Can you write for them, please, Fern? Please.
No, because I don't want them to say fern. It's not what it is if they see it.
Yes, but
It's-
just the place, plant, yeah?
Don't ever say it.
Mhm. It's the plant. It's
They're not, no.
We can eat it?
They're nettles. They're just before, as they come out of the ground, you pick them. I see old women in these woods pick this all the time, and they sell them on the street. In America, a kilo of these would easily go for like $120. I see the women in center Sochi selling a kilo of these for like $5.
Oh, really?
I first saw these, I'm like, I take these back to America, I'll become a millionaire like this. It's amazing. These are baby zucchini. They only get about this big, and about that round.
Can you say it one
And
more
they
time?
can't no, at this moment they grow up.
Yes, yeah. When you start to see it come up, that's when you pick it. But if downstairs in your HR, I see this plant, its actual parent plant. You have them all over the place.
Asparagus, yes?
What's that?
Is it asparagus?
There's no asparagus. This is a spring onion, or you call it green onion. And then I just take it and I cook it in a little bit of bouillon and butter and lemon, and that's it. Very simple.
The fern,
Fiddle fern.
the fern, we
Fern.
can eat how on the that kind of-
First, you must boil it.
fresh?
You must boil it
Well-
just a little bit. Otherwise, it's very bitter. Bitter.
Это даже how from
Gordic.
Bitter.
Very,
Good.
very like if you eat it like that, you boil it for like 5 minutes, and you take it out of water, and then you cool it, and then you can take it, saute it. You can eat it in salads, however you want. Like I said, I see old women every spring. I see the old women all the freaking time. Spanish dish.
with seafood.
Latin America. Not Spain, only Latin America. Very famous dish.
With shrimps?
No, only raw fish.
Ро это какая? Мгм. Сырая,
Sea
сырая.
that's
Sea bass, scallops, tartare is French.
Tartar is French. It's
Type of
Spanish.
Spanish?
Latin
This
American.
is Latin
Kare
America.
kare.
Ceviche.
Switch.
Any Spanish place carries this,
Can you
and
please
steakhouses would carry this.
Can
because
you
it's
write,
very-
please?
I don't even know if I remember this.
And pronounce?
Ceviche.
And you?
Ceviche.
Ceviche. Mhm.
I probably wouldn't do this dish in Russia though, because it has to be the freshest of fish. It can't be frozen, it can't be from Moscow 1 week later, it has to be completely fresh.
But in the Gamish, it is a Spanish tartar. But tartar
Latin
is
America
a cook.
tartar. This is,
Cut.
it's cut like this. Tartar is cut like this also.
It's the same.
And when they, like beef tartare, they use like mayonnaise and vinegar to cook the meat.
Yeah.
This is citrus. Spanish only use citrus. Lemons, limes,
But just the
grapefruits.
juice or with
You squeeze the juice. Sometimes they cut the fruit and put it in. This has the juice. It has red onion, white onion, cilantro, green
Or is
pepper.
it cilantro?
Quince.
Он писал, да?
Cilantro.
Cilantro. Мгм. Matthew, can you leave it, please? Can you leave? Because not everybody managed to do it on time.
No, I don't remember how it's spelled.
Okay.
It's a long time ago.
Do we have in Russian the name for this?
So tartar for us is
Ceviche. Вот ceviche.
You do. I've been to
Тартар
a
это
restaurant.
другое вообще блюдо, это
Yeah,
French.
тоже.
I've been to a restaurant
Это
where they
French, а это
serve.
у нас Latin America.
I've been to a restaurant in Russia that serves ceviche and they call it tartar. You would still call it tartar. They don't call it ceviche.
Да, у нас такого нет, только тарtar. In Russian is ceviche. And original languages it's Spanish.
Latin America. Spain has nothing to do with this dish. They would, Spain, they would kill you for this. Like literally, they would hang you. One of my favorite pieces of meat. It takes 36 hours to make this dish.
What is 6 hours?
36. 36. Часа.
И что 36 чего?
Доготовиться.
What is it?
For men, it's not really a women's dish, it's definitely a man's dish.
Okay, what is it?
Pork belly. It's pork belly.
Pork belly. Can you write, please? Pork belly. Pork это у нас свинина, да?
Желудок, живот.
Нет, это прям мясо.
Похоже на мясо.
What is belly?
Живот.
Mm-hmm. How? What do you call pork belly? Грудинка, да?
It's where bacon comes from, but bacon is not bacon until you slice it.
Грудинка, свиная грудинка.
It's where salo comes from, but the salo, all countries have salo, some version. But salo, they treat the pigs very special. They don't let the pigs move, because if the pigs move, the fat turns into meat, muscle. This is where they've let the pigs run around free. So all the fat is almost gone, and it's completely meat. But very juicy, still very fatty. When you eat it, it's just a beer. You're very good, very good.
Do you have any dishes made of
We don't
pork?
have the pork in our menu.
You have only beef?
Yes.
In America, very famous in steakhouses now, where we take it and we cook it very slowly instead of doing pork barbecue, as you guys know, with the ribs.
Ribs это
Because
что?
everybody does it.
Ребрышки, да?
Everybody does that. In America, we stopped doing it because now we have specific places that do only barbecue, only. So steakhouses started using the belly, and they cook it very slow, anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. And then we take it and we press it very hard, and leave it in the cooler overnight. And then you can take it out, cut it, however, like 150 grams, 300 grams, and you can take it and you can grill it afterwards. It's very good. Very good. You drink with alcohol, beer, something acidic. Because it's, like I said, even though it's not a lot of fat, it's still, you can feel the fat in your mouth.
I can ask, it is sauce or juice?
It's the juices after you cook it in the oven, you reduce it. I like to do things very natural. Unnatural for me, I don't. And this isn't off a grill. This I took a pan and I cooked both sides. I cooked this side first in the pan, then I turned it over and I put a touch of sugar to it. And you know creme brulee, yes? How you take the torch. I took the torch and did that. And this, the sauce I added red wine vinegar. So you have sweet and you have sour. Understand?
Sour, это
Sweet
какой
and
вкус?
sour, like Asian kind of.
Sour.
He's
Кислый,
Mhm.
да?
And the salad is Asian-esque. It has ginger, it has fennel, it has cabbage, Asian cabbage, it has
What is
cilantro.
Asian cabbage?
Молодые.
Asian.
You
That's
call it
good.
Kitaisky kapusta. It's soft cabbage. It's a soft cabbage. You can eat it all very easy.
Да, да. Капуста. Asian cabbage.
What is it?
Very
It
easy.
is fish.
Something delicious.
Any ideas what kind of fish?
You saw it earlier ago,
It's not like the salmon, but it's not salmon.
before the sea bass.
Is it what?
Before. Photo before.
Ah.
With green peas.
Scallops.
Ah, the
Yeah.
scallops.
Scallops, это у нас что?
Yeah.
Гребешок.
What kind of greens do you see?
Dill.
Да.
Mm-hmm.
Dill, dill, dill.
I told you I took Japanese. In my community where my family still lives, a lot of Japanese people. So I just didn't take Japanese in university when I'd go visit my friend. His father used to be vice president of Toyota North America. I learned how to make sushi. I learned actually how to make a lot of Japanese cuisine. And I started to learn Chinese cuisine when I started cooking. This has a lot of Chinese, Japanese influence to it. The soy sauce that you see I made, this takes 8 months to make.
8 months?
8 months. You can take tofu and make this. The way it's very gross. When you see it and you think the process, you're like, but it's very cool. The end process to make your own. It's eggplant.
Eggplant, это у нас что?
Какой черный вот эти.
Баклажан, да?
Баклажан.
Eggplant.
This is
Egg.
Mizuna.
Plant.
Egg?
What is it?
Plant.
Mizuna. It's
It is a native
Chinese.
salad.
Chinese rucola.
This one?
Chinese rucola.
Can you write, please, Mizuna?
Он нервничает.
The Japanese use it a lot, which is why it has a name that you can Japanese and Chinese both use. They both call it mizu. Rucola, Asian rucola.
Mm-hmm.
Pasta is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Lobster.
Lobster.
Every 100% of this dish is made from the lobster, except for the cheese. The sauce has lobster bouillon in it. You see the lobster meat. The spots that you see is the smoked paprika, and then you see the black olives. The green is tarragon, which is similar. You pronounce it similar in Russian. I'm talking. Everybody knows what that is.
Ah, it is
muffin.
Nasta.
Uh-huh. It's a
Speak
hamburger.
English?
It is the beef and the egg.
Very special. No, cheese.
It is the cheese.
Gruyere.
Can you write it, please? Huh?
Gruyere.
Gruyere. Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese.
Gruyere.
And the beef,
Швейцарский сыр.
the beef is Japanese beef. It's called akaushi. Akaushi. It's Japanese beef. Very expensive. It's very good. They raise their cows and they keep them out for 1 year. And then they bring them inside for 6 months. And they massage the cow. And they feed the cow. When they feed the cow, they add beer to their feed. So the cows But the point is the cow's relaxed. So it makes the meat very soft, very tender.
Год погуляла, потом полгода.
Yeah, the cow lives better life than most people. The cow lives a better life than most people. And then after the 6, when it's 18 months old, they.
Okay, and the name of this dish is
Hamburger. Cheeseburger.
actually
Cheeseburger.
roast beef with roast fish.
Ah,
Scallops and
it's fish. It's fish. What kind
It
of
is
fish? What kind of fish?
жирное, с лосось.
In English?
I moved to Russia, and when I moved to Russia, I thought, why can't I use this and make this?
Bread. Mustard.
No bread. You guys love eating this stuff. Cured salmon.
I was
It's
hungry.
it's beet cured salmon. I made the water like how you cure salmon. You usually use a little bit of sugar, sometimes vinegar, water, and salt, and you put your salmon in it, and it cures it. So Solini salmon, Solini olive sauce. I added beets to the water to make the water very, very red, and that's the red you see here. And only a thin line inside the salmon is still orange. So it's a little sweet, it's salty, it's a little tangy from vinegar, the raspberry vinegar. And then it's just peppers, pesto, green onion. So it's very simple. Arugula. Very
But
simple.
is it cold?
It's cold. It's cold. You can eat this and drink vodka.
It's a
or-
When
cured.
you take the worm, if the water is cold, the worm is.
When you cure it, the waters must be cold, and it takes 2 days.
Так что такое у нас cured? Вяленый. Вяленый, да? Cured. Can you write cured, please? Can meat be cured? Cured.
Everything can, even people.
Cured.
You're
After
cured-
English.
You're cured from disease, but in this case, we're using it a different way. In a steakhouse, in order to keep the meat from going bad, in America, when we keep fresh meat only for so long. Even when we age it anywhere from 10 to 20 days. Anything over 20 days is useless. The meat becomes too dry. So if we don't use the meat that we've dried, we take it and we put a ton of salt in it. Like for 1 kilo of meat, 1 kilo of salt. And then sometimes sugar, most times yeah. And then we take that and we let it go for another 2 months. And it's cured beef. That's what we use. Prosciutto. Prosciutto's cured pork, yeah. We do the same. Because in steakhouses, the meat, even in America, the beef is very expensive. We never throw beef.
And these dishes,
This is
the guest can try with what? No, with what the alcohol I can.
When I made this, I wanted to make this for vodka. Because the salmon is salty, slightly sweet, but then you have the pesto and everything. It actually goes pretty good with vodka.
But we
actually.
need some bread, like bread, no?
However they wish. For me, I don't eat bread, so my thought is never about
Can
bread.
be snack.
It's an appetizer, always this appetizer. Yeah.
Okay.
Some good luck.
You can come up closer.
Желе?
Mm.
Это что такое сложно?
There is a gelée to it, but no.
You can come up closer.
Ах, интересно.
It's a very, except for one ingredient, which is very expensive. The rest of the dish is very cheap.
Это большое желе? Шафран, конечно.
Very famous mushroom. It's French.
Mushroom?
It's potato and leek terrine.
What is
And-
leek?
You have them in Russia. They're like green onions about this
Lukpari.
big.
Ah,
Lukpari.
onion, leek onion.
Can you write?
We just say leek. And you make a vegetable broth and you add gelatin to it. And you put it in a very special mold, like leek potato, leek, and then potato, leek, blah, and you alternate it until it's square. And then you pour the broth with the gelatin over it, and you press it for one night. And then the next day it comes out of the mold and you can slice it. It's very traditional French dish. And then you take truffles, you slice it, and a dish you would sell for like $4 because you add truffle to it just became $20.
And the truffle is fresh?
Yes.
And what is it decorated with?
Безумно.
No.
Рукола.
No.
The
Frisee.
mixer.
Frisee.
Fraise. Fraise. Can you write, please?
Вот смотрите, фрезер. Вот это фрезер.
Правильно стоит.
It's French word. Yeah?
It's very weird in Russia because a lot of, when I start cooking in the world, even in America, you don't realize the type of ingredients that you use. Like potato isn't something that's naturally found in America. Corn is not something that comes from any other part of the world but America. Cilantro. Russians eat cilantro like you guys eat so much cilantro, it's not even funny. Cilantro is not Russian. You guys have known cilantro for maybe 200 years. It's an American thing. That's why I say, for me, cooking is about knowing as much as you can about all parts of the world on how to use the ingredients for a dish. Because a dish like this, Russians would eat very easily. If you put like pickled mushrooms on top, traditional домашние грибы on top, this dish Russians would eat like that. But it's French. This is very traditional French food. And I see French eat like their version of vinaigrette. They have their version, but instead of grating the beets, they slice the beets. But when you eat it in France, you think, maybe because I know Russian food, I think this is vinaigrette. It's really vinaigrette. It's amazing.
You cook just the main dishes and cold dishes without dessert.